Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I'm here to talk to you today about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's get to it with our Bitcoin chart TA. So Bitcoin has had a pretty massive run up the past couple of days. We've had 6 days so far of nothing but buying volume come in. And so this is a combination of both whales buying and of a short squeeze in the making. And I've been posting over Twitter several times now about how I think that this rally is basically overdone at this point. We can go ahead and take a look at the RSI. RSI on the daily is at about almost 60. It's about 59 or so, which isn't quite as high as it normally would go. One thing I've outlined on this channel multiple times here is that there is a resistance point on the on RSI, on the daily RSI for Bitcoin. So I just outlined it there. You can see this right here where there's this resistance line, and it's about 60-ish, 61 in that region, and it's had a really hard time trying to overcome this resistance line for the buying pressure, right? So Bitcoin, it doesn't look like it's able to kind of get past this point right now. However, much of this rally is going to be dependent on the success of the Ethereum merge in the coming days, okay? So many people are coming in here. They're buying Bitcoin ahead of the merge. They're buying Bitcoin ahead of tomorrow's CPI numbers, okay, the Consumer Price Index, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But people have come by and they've bought this, and right now it looks very, very overbought. If you take a look at the Bitcoin funding rates, right, which will show us whether or not Bitcoin is trading at, whether Bitcoin longs are trading at a premium or Bitcoin shorts are trading at a premium. And right now we've seen there has been 3 days in a row of positive funding. And so that means that the longs are actually paying a premium to the shorts. So the longs are dominant in the market right now. And this is kind of setting up like a bull trap. So I'm not going anywhere near these Bitcoin numbers. It's right at the resistance level here at about 22,500 in this region. And this rally here is eventually going to run out of steam, because this rally so far is larger than any other rally we've seen in Bitcoin up to this point, at least in this short span of time, because we haven't had 6 consecutive green days in Bitcoin since the collapse back in June. So in order to get, let's see if I can find something that's even close to that. So we have back in March a section of time in which we've had multiple buying days, greater than 6 days. And after that, at that point, we saw a huge breakdown in the price. So I don't really expect that Bitcoin is going to be able to keep this up for very much longer. We're probably going to see, we could see a move higher, definitely. That's definitely possible. But I think we're going to see a pretty sizable pullback coming in. And a lot of this depends on what happens in the market, what happens with CPI, what happens with the merge. So all that's going to play a crucial role in the Bitcoin price. And one other thing I wanted to show you is the fact that the next resistance level, when it gets past this point at about 22,500, is actually going to be the 200-week moving average at about 23,300. So this level, we've talked about this multiple times with the 200-week moving average. This is expected to be both strong support and strong resistance, and right now it's playing the part of resistance. So watch out right here. That could definitely become very strong resistance. All right, so let's talk about Ethereum. So I have charted out a rising wedge pattern for Ethereum. Ethereum's in a completely different spot than Bitcoin's in. We can see here that it has been making a series of higher lows on this chart. And then you have the top here, which is at about $2,000 or so. So Ethereum's had a really hard time trying to break through this resistance point. And we see that back on August 13th, it tried, failed, and came all the way back down again. But like I said, it's still making higher lows. So to me, what this says is this Ethereum is going to keep running up until it hits the merge date. And then, as I've said in a previous video, when I talked about the Ethereum merge, if you guys haven't watched that, go check that out. I expect that we're going to get a run up to the Ethereum merge date, and then we're going to actually see a increased selling on the date of the actual merge. So from there, we're probably going to wind up getting a further bounce, and we could potentially retest this $2,000 resistance level. So the way I've mapped this out right now, I do expect Ethereum to retest this $2,000 resistance level. Now, if we can push above that level, that would be very bullish because this level has been very difficult for Ethereum to overcome in the past. All right. I also want to go ahead and talk about Bitcoin dominance too while we're on the topic of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin dominance has recovered drastically. You can see the correlation here between the Bitcoin dominance and the actual Bitcoin chart itself. It's been a huge move up. Right now, it's at 41.6%. When you contrast that with the Ethereum dominance, Ethereum has actually fallen out of this resistance channel that I've outlined before. It's still having a hard time just remaining in that channel for any period of time. And right now, I don't expect that to change. We may actually see it attempt to go back into the channel, but it's going to be give and take with Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're both fighting for dominance right now. And as one increases, the other one decreases. And Bitcoin has been increasing, so that means that Ethereum has been decreasing. Okay? Now, one other thing I want to talk about here is the dollar index. As always, we always want to talk about the dollar index because the dollar index trades inversely with Bitcoin. So the dollar index has taken a huge beating. It was like $110 and now it's down to 108. And as a result of that, again, we've seen Bitcoin rise because it trades inversely. Now, what can actually affect this dollar index? Well, we have the CPI report coming out tomorrow, September 13th. All right. A lot of people have been buying Bitcoin ahead of this, thinking that the CPI is going to be bullish. Okay. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not entirely possible. What we want to see, if you think this is bullish, is we want to see a lower number than 8.5%. So you want to see, 8% or so. And if the market puts in, if the CPI comes out at about 8%, what it means is that inflation is ticking down and the Fed doesn't have to be as aggressive with raising interest rates. Now, if you guys are curious about that, I've actually done a video on Bitcoin and the Fed and how the Fed and raising interest rates actually affects Bitcoin. I definitely recommend to check that out. So we will see. I will cover that tomorrow on tomorrow's video about what the CPI report says and what I think that means for Bitcoin and the dollar index. All right. So that's all I've got for you guys today. If you like this content, please let me know. Please like and subscribe and also follow me on Twitter. This is Cody the Coin Raptor signing out.